Ohio is holding a special election Tuesday that marks the last Democratic-Republican face-off until November, and it's coming down to the wire. Democrat Danny O'Connor is going up against Republican Troy Balderson to represent Ohio's 12th district in Congress. The seat has been solidly red since 1982. The tight race has drawn national attention. President Trump campaigned in Ohio last week for Balderson, as polling shows the candidates in a dead heat. Joining me now from Hartford, Ohio, is CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. All right, Ed, this seat has been reliably Republican for nearly 3 decades. Why is there a potential for it to flip now?
Seems to be a few factors, Elaine. For one thing, this is a
You have
how
an
you
enthusiastic
doing?
person
We're at a
behind
fair.
you.
Can't you tell?
Yes.
Yes. For one thing, this is the kind of district that Democrats believe is gettable this year. It has a mix of suburban voters, plus some rural areas and some other Democratic hotspots that they believe will turn out in droves this year. Republicans concede that the timing of this election, the fact that it's in the middle of the summer when fewer people may be home or engaged, might actually help benefit Democrats if they're able to drive up turnout. And whether Republicans like to admit it or not, it does seem in our conversations today with people that the president is a factor. There is some desire to have a bit of a check on him. There's some desire among Democrats to deliver him a message that they're unhappy with the way he's running Washington. And they say, look, after so many years of Republicans controlling this district that's been drawn for them, here we now have a legitimate chance to take it. We have a strong candidate who seems to be doing well and connecting with voters. They think they have a shot.
Well, recent polling has the race in a near-dead heat with the Republican candidate only up by 1 point. Based on what you have been hearing there at the fair, is it just about the president, or is there another defining issue that's making it so close for these two candidates?
It does seem as if the caliber of the Democratic candidate here, Danny O'Connor, does have something to do with it. He's a 31-year-old Franklin County official. Younger guy, has been talking about the need for Washington to have new leadership, which is a double-edged message. It's one for all voters. It suggests here I'm a younger, fresh face, somebody from the other party who deserves a shot at representing you in Washington. To Democrats, however, and to potential Republican swing voters who are fed up with Nancy Pelosi's leadership of the House Democratic Caucus, his message is, I'm not going to vote for her should she be up in the leadership elections as well. That may motivate some younger, more liberal Democrats who'd like to see a change, but also inoculates them against the attacks from Republicans who for years have successfully tied Democratic challengers like Danny O'Connor to Pelosi with great effect. There have been ads run here in the district that have suggested that he would back her because he sort of stumbled through the question in a national television interview about 2 weeks ago. I asked him about it earlier today, and point blank he said he would not be supporting her in leadership elections should he get elected and should she be one of the options when Democrats gather in the fall.
Interesting. Well, President Trump campaigned last week in Ohio for Troy Balderson. However, on Sunday, Ohio Governor John Kasich said the candidate did not invite the president to his rally. Let's listen to that.
I asked him the other day, why are you bringing Trump in? He said, well, I don't have anything to do with it. I asked him, I said, Troy, why did you invite Trump in here, the president? He said, no, I didn't. So, I think Donald Trump decides where he wants to go, and I think they think they're firing it up the base. But I have to tell you, at the same time he comes in here, I was with some women last night who said, hey, you know what? I'm not voting. And they're Republicans. I'm not voting for the Republicans. See, this is the problem the party has now.
All right. So, Ed, it's really interesting to hear the comments there from Governor Kasich. I'm wondering what you have been hearing in your conversations with Republicans. Is there some sort of coordination here on the part of the president and these campaigns? Or is this sort of the president, as the governor laid out, just choosing where he wants to go?
Well, we asked State Senator Troy Balderson, the Republican candidate, a little while ago, whether or not he actually wanted the president here. He made clear, sort of brushing off the governor's comments, that, look, the president has helped, it has energized voters, it has them talking about this race, about his candidacy. He said, look, in 6 days I had the vice president and the president of the United States come to this district to help me out. If that doesn't create energy, I don't know what would. And so he, at least publicly now, is suggesting after the governor's comments that this is a good thing and something that will help motivate Republicans to vote. However, the governor clearly exposed there in his interview on Sunday that there must have been some disagreement between local Republicans and the White House about whether or not the president should come here. Part of the reason why the president is potentially a weight around the neck of Republicans in this district is that it has that sort of suburban, higher educated mix that Democrats believe is going to make the president toxic in a lot of these swing districts this year. This is a district that stretches from just north of Ohio State University up into some of the northern suburbs of Columbus, out here to Hartford, which is a rural farming community. And they believe that in those population centers, Democrats do at least, that there are enough Democrats and disaffected Republicans that will turn out for O'Connor. In a conversation I had with some of O'Connor's door knockers earlier today, they said, I had a list of 36 houses, maybe 27 of them knocked or answered the door. And one woman told me that in some cases there were people who were written down as Republican who said, no, the only reason we're really Republican is because we voted for Kasich in the 2016 primary, but we're open to voting for O'Connor. We're not necessarily sold on Balderson. So it does suggest that there are some disaffected Republicans here, or people who have voted for Republicans in the past, fully prepared now with a viable Democratic option to potentially pull the lever for O'Connor tomorrow.
So, Ed, you were talking about the demographics of that district. Ohio 12 has the highest percentage of people 25 and older with college degrees than any other district in the state. What else should we know about that part of Ohio?
Well, this is an interesting part of the state. It is kind of in the middle here. Columbus, of course, one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the country, which is why, again, Democrats believe that the kind of people who are moving into this district, be they independent Democrat or Republican, are the kind that are open to backing a viable Democratic candidate. It does seem as if, that may be working here in O'Connor's favor. This is an area of his state, as you said, highly educated, got a big Amazon processing plant out here for the Midwest, lots of sort of moneyed suburban communities where you've got a mix of Democratic and Republican voters. This is the kind of place that Democrats should not be able to win, however, because the registration advantage is to the Republicans by 7 percentage points. But what does it tell you that here we are in August, the final special election of this year? It's basically tied. It suggests that something is happening in these kinds of districts across the country, that a Democrat, when there is one running, that is well-funded, that's telegenic, that is drawing support from local Democrats and out-of-state money, that actually could potentially knock off some of these Republican incumbents and win back districts that haven't been held by the party for quite some time. If it can happen here, Democrats will tell you starting on Wednesday, it can happen just about everywhere.
All right, Ed O'Keefe with The View from Ohio for us tonight. Ed, thanks so much.